Hey guys, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for tuning in to what's going to be a video that I don't really know how to explain. Like, it's not a review, it's not a roundup. I kind of just thought of the idea out of my own amusement. There are a ton of good beauty do's and don'ts videos out there. This is not going to be one of those. This is going to be a video where I talk about some makeup don'ts that I know I do, and I'm not going to stop doing them. I was just doing my makeup one day and I realized, I should probably doing, this, that, and the other, because this is probably a major makeup don't. And I thought, but I'm not going to, either because I don't need to or out of laziness, mostly out of laziness. If I'm being honest, most of these things I do because I'm just lazy. And so I don't know if there's any real value in this video, if there are any takeaways. It was just something that I wanted to hear if there are any of these things that you guys do, and so I'll go first. I'll tell you what mine are. The first thing, and this is actually what I was doing when this idea came to me, and I realized that both this and like a lot of other things I do are actually don'ts. And that is using the same concealer to conceal and brighten my under eye area to spot conceal the rest of my face. Basically, if you are concealing and highlighting in your under eye area, you want to take it a shade or two or a shade and a half lighter so that you can kind of double duty conceal and highlight in your under eye area. But then, because you have a concealer that's slightly lighter than the rest of your face, you wouldn't want to then go and like spot conceal something on your cheek or on your nose or any other place where you wouldn't necessarily want to highlight, right? Because the last thing you want to do to a blemish is further highlight it. You just want a little bit of extra coverage, and therefore it should match the actual tone of makeup across the rest of your face. I use it all. I use my Tarte Shape Tape. This is in the shade Light Neutral. It's what I use my under eye, but then I will either take the excess and apply it elsewhere on my face, or I will just dab and you've probably seen this in tutorials or demos or things like that, where I'll dab the excess. That's a don't, because I'm highlighting blemishes around the rest of my face that I would otherwise want to conceal. But I find that when I then go and apply, maybe it's bronzer or blush or things over top, that it really all nets out even. I don't find there's a huge difference in the rest of my face, but yeah, technically it's kind of a don't. Oh, and the other thing that I don't always do, but especially on those lazy days I find I do more often than not, is concealing more when I should be color correcting, especially in my under eye area when I'm exceptionally tired, and so I have dark under eye circles or allergies are really kind of getting at me, and so I have like purple or blue, kind of discoloration in my under eye area. Instead of just piling on more concealer, the trick is to color correct underneath everything and then go over top. And sometimes I just forget the color correction step and I just go in with more concealer. It's a don't. I know this, it leads to achy concealer in your under eye area, but I can't help myself. Don't do what I do, but the world won't end if you do. Next up is that I do my eyes before my foundation, and this is probably split actually. I don't think this is a hard and fast rule for a lot of people. It might be a preference for a lot of people, but I have actually seen some people like give reasoning for why you should do your face before your eyes. I just can't. I don't like having to brush away fallout when because I don't really mind fallout, knowing that I'm only gonna be able to swipe it away, and then whatever I can't swipe away, I'll just put on my foundation and concealer over. I don't want to have to do the powder and then the brushing, and then what if it's still there, all of that kind of stuff. I just, prefer doing the eyes first. And that's a don't to some and not to others, but I'm not changing it. Next up is a don't that has definitely come back to bite me, but I still haven't learned from it. I still do it from time to time, and that is applying a cream over a powder product, specifically like a cream concealer or blush over a powder foundation or a setting powder, something like that. Like maybe you'll set your face before you apply some sort of liquid or cream, highlight, blush over top. You get it. I do this sometimes because I have found there are actually powder foundation formulas that on my combo skin type and my skin chemistry, it blends in with my face and my skin so seamlessly that when I've accidentally put cream or liquid over top and have not found it disturb the foundation underneath. I don't think that's going to be the same for everyone, but it's also gotten me in this nasty habit of doing that with other powder formulas, where that's definitely not the case. My example being the IT Cosmetics, this is the Celebration Foundation Illumination. It also works with the regular non-illumination too. But this is a powder foundation that I can go in with this first and then go in with my concealer over top. Overall, a definite no-no, but I've just done it on accident so many times, and I found that there's really no difference for me with the way this blends into my skin, that I still continue to do it. However, I have had it happen, I believe it was the CoverGirl, what's the one with the pink and white packaging? They have a powder foundation. I forget the kind, but I love it. But I made that same mistake where I put the powder on first and then I went in with the concealer, and there was a clashing of textures, and the war zone was right in my under eye area. It was like clearly cream, clearly powder, and then this clumpy, chunky mess, like right where the two met. It was a disaster. I immediately regretted it, but it hasn't kept me from doing it in the future. Like when I was testing all those powder foundations over the summer, I still am going to have a video coming comparing them and talking about my favorites, but I can't tell you how many times I made the mistake of applying the foundation without having done my concealer underneath because I wanted a good feel for what kind of coverage the foundation actually had. It didn't always work out for me in the end. So it's a don't that I still do, but one day I'll learn. Moving on, my next don't is using a clean brush with each product. More so with face products probably, because I just find that between blush, bronzer, highlight, I a lot of times use the same brush for all of them. It's not right. I've ended up with really, just nonsensical sort of situations up on my cheek area because of it, like blush that looks muddied and bronzer that looks pink and blush that looks too shimmery because it had highlight in it. It's totally happened, but not enough times to stop me from just using the same brush for everything, especially when you're in a hurry and you're like trying to do a 5-minute face and you just want to get out the door. Yeah, I've done it. I've definitely done it with some eyeshadow brushes too, but it's a little harder to get away with if you're using something like super bright or vibrant or doesn't match some of the other shades you might be using, like in your crease or across the rest of your lid. I think we've all run into that situation where you grab a brush that you think is clean or you think you used with a lighter color and you go to apply it to your face and you're like, oh, that has dark plummy purple on it. My look is ruined. We've all had some of those situations, so I feel like I've learned my lesson a little bit more with the eye brushes, but not with the face. The last don't for me is blocky eyebrows. I'm a huge culprit of this when I'm in a rush or I'm, again, just too lazy. But in so many do videos, when I see, the do versus the don't, my eyebrows tend to look more like the don't because I don't take the time to go in with like a thin, really, really precise brow brush and kind of create the individual hairs that you're supposed to have here in the intersection of your brows and then kind of go and fill it out towards the end. I sometimes just kind of fill it all in without paying attention to how thin or fine the lines are, and it sometimes looks like I have 2 sensor bars above my eyes. And, it is what it is. Like I said, I don't know what the point of this video was, more so just for like entertainment value. There are definitely some things that despite all of the do's and don'ts videos out there, we might not do for one reason or another. So those are mine. I'd love to hear yours in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys.